Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Midnight Musings. My name is Ron Guth, and I'm here because I can't sleep, and I've got something on my mind that I want to share with you. Tonight, I want to talk about voting. Normally, I would call myself a political junkie. I mean, I love politics. I love reading about politics. I've been really enjoying watching Amy Barrett's confirmation hearings and watching the back and forth between the senators and her responses. She seems to be very sharp, and I mean that's undeniable no matter what side you're on. But as far as politics go, I try to I keep my cards close to my chest. I don't normally like to reveal my politics or discuss politics with anybody outside of my close inner circle. I've been with people sometimes where they get on a rant about politics, and this happens on both sides, and they just escalate and escalate to the point where they're like popping a cork, and I'm just sitting back and going, wow, you need to calm down. And this year there's such a polarized electorate, and it's just really futile to get into an argument with somebody about politics because generally people's positions have been hardened, and you're going to have a difficult time getting them to move toward your position or not. I mean, pretty much everyone's decided how they're going to vote, and that's the way it is. But this year is very unusual because of the mail-in voting. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong or bad about mail-in voting. I mean, absentee voting is a little bit different. We've been doing that for many, many years, and there are some states that have mail-in voting that they've been successful with for a number of years. But we are hearing all kinds of reports about problems with mail-in voting. Like, for instance, even today, I saw 3 news reports just today. One of them was where a Pennsylvania county sent out 29,000 ballots that were misprinted. And so now they're not going to recall the old ballots, but they're going to send out new ones. So, what happens here? I'm not sure how people keep track of all that stuff. So there is a possibility of, I don't know, double voting, misvoting, missed voting. And then I read another report. Let's see here. 2 reports. Mail-in ballots stolen from mailboxes in Colorado Springs. So I'm not sure what that's about, but that's an issue where people are relying upon the postal system to get their ballots to the election places safely. And we have these things going on. Here's another one. Utah County mails over 13,000 ballots with missing signature lines. Well, that means if you're someone who's voting, if you're a voter and you get a ballot that doesn't have a signature line, if you don't sign that ballot, it's invalid. So here we have a case where 13,000 people could possibly not have their votes counted because of an error in the way that the ballots are printed. So 2 things here. One is be sure to vote. I mean, this election is very, very important no matter which side you're on. So I encourage you to vote. And, pick your preference, vote by mail or vote in person, but please vote. Second, make sure that if you do vote by mail, that just check everything on your ballot. Just make sure it looks good, it seems correct. And in many venues, there are unique serial numbers attached to your ballot that you can use to track the ballot online so that you can make sure that it gets from you through the postal system and into the place where they count the votes. That's really important because just because you stick it in the mailbox, as you can see, ballots are being stolen. So you just want to make sure that it gets from you to the balloting place. The right to vote is one of the fundamental rights we have as American citizens, but with that comes responsibility. So it is kind of our responsibility to make sure that our votes are entered properly and counted. Now, that's an extra burden this year that we normally don't have, because if you go to a polling place and vote, these sort of issues don't come up. But I just encourage you to really follow your ballot once it leaves your hands and make sure it gets to the proper place. Of course, you can mitigate all these issues by just going to the polling place. When you go there to vote in person, you have physical control over the ballot. You pick it up from the poll worker, you fill it out, you put it back in its sleeve, and it slides into the ballot box. Or if they have electronic machines, you're there, you're pulling the levers, and you're there to actually make sure that your vote is counted. Now, what happens if you find an issue with your mail-in ballot? Like, for instance, you're tracking it and it's like stuck in the system, or it's not going where it's supposed to, and there's some issue with it. I would follow up with a phone call to the election board and make sure that if your vote is not being transferred properly, that there is something you can do. You might have to take out a provisional ballot, or do something else to make sure that you vote, but you might get a duplicate ballot. I don't know, but you just want to make sure that your vote is counted. And again, it is your right to vote, but it's also your responsibility to make sure that your vote gets counted. So those are the Midnight Musings for tonight. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you again tomorrow night. And I'm off to bed. Good night.